So you say you've tried CBD after agonizing about it forever, and now you feel guilty like you did something wrong. You're a Christian. And you want to do what's right. So did you do something wrong? Is God mad at you? Today we're going to talk about 3 truths that you can stand on so you can get rid of that guilt and instead lean on Him. Let's go. What's up, my friend? Welcome to the CBD YOU podcast. And yes, you means you. And I believe you are here for a reason. I'm Lori, a Christian, a wife, a mama, and a midwife. And to put a little icing on the cake, my husband and I own a hemp farm in Tennessee. Girlfriend, I see it in your eyes, and I feel it in the messages you send me. You are tired of waking up every day exhausted with aches and pains that you really thought you were too young for. And with all the stress and anxiety of the day, you're over it. Are you starting to wonder if this is really all life is? I hear you, and you are not alone. God did not design us to just survive. He designed us to thrive. So if you're ready to embrace this beautiful life God has given you by discovering some of His best gifts for His children, rewarm that coffee you forgot about in the microwave, and let's take a minute to pour back into you with a quick chat and some me time. Let's go. Come on in, sister friend. Make yourself comfortable. And let's get started. Before I get into the depth of the content we're going to talk about today, I just want to read you a quick review that Tanya left me over on Apple Podcasts. If you haven't left me a review yet, why not? Do you realize, you don't realize, or you would have already, how much that helps me reach more people just like you who have been wondering about CBD. Maybe they've been looking for a source to answer their questions, somebody they can trust. And when you leave me a review over on Apple Podcasts, it tells Apple Podcasts that, hey, this girl's legit and she gives good info. So just head over there. Takes just a couple of seconds. There's a link in the show notes. And leave me a quick 5-star written review. Click that little 5th star and then it'll pop up a box and you can type in there something, and that helps me so much. Tanya did that for me, and I want to read to you what she said. She said, Lori is so informative. I have wondered about CBD and whether it could really work for anxiety and sleep. This podcast is so helpful and has me believing in the benefits. Very well done, Lori. If you are wondering about how CBD can help you or those you love, this is a must listen. And I'm so appreciative of that awesome review. Thank you so much. And I hope that you will be the next one to leave a review. And who knows, you may hear your review read right here. Okay, let's get going. So the enemy, guys, the enemy has a way of convincing us that we're bad. We're doing things wrong, even when we are truly working so hard to do what's right. Now, I'm not talking about the guilt that comes when you're actually doing wrong. That's a whole different topic, and I'm not going into that today. If you're actually doing something wrong, you ought to feel guilty. But when you're not doing wrong, when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, there's no reason to feel the guilt. I'm talking about that feeling that you've done something wrong that's not based on truth. This weight that's on you, wondering if you've done something wrong. Some of you I know might be struggling with that. Maybe you've tried CBD and now it's maybe in your medicine cabinet. Maybe you've felt bad as soon as you took it, like you had sinned. Today I want to talk about that. I want to help you to get past that and to understand that you have not sinned. And I believe that this is the truth based on my study of God's Word. And I always encourage you to study as well, because you have to work out your own salvation, the Word tells us. And so you need to make sure that your conscience is clear as based on His truth. So you study, you make sure it's okay in your heart based on truth. But in my study, I have come to the conclusion that CBD is a gift, and we're going to talk about why that is here. I do not want you walking around feeling rough about it, feeling like you have done something wrong. I was like you too. I wondered if CBD was okay to take as a Christian. When my husband first proposed that we grow this, I thought, no, we can't do that. That's wrong. Not only can we not use it, but we surely can't provide it to other people. That's wrong. So I really dug in and I really started to study, and I still kind of doubted that it was okay. But over time, I realized that there has been so much bad info out there for just a really, really long time. It stems from back when marijuana was prohibited decades ago, may even be a century now. It was all kind of lumped in together. Hemp and marijuana were lumped in as being the same thing. Thankfully, changes have been made in our laws to make hemp-derived products available to us in the U.S. now. And when I say the word hemp-derived, that just means that the product comes from hemp, which is the legal cousin to the illegal marijuana. Now, where I live here in Tennessee, marijuana is illegal. I know in some states you may be listening to this, it's legal. I'm just speaking based on what we live here. It is illegal here. So the hemp version is the legal version here. And back then, though, hemp and marijuana were kind of all lumped together and treated the same. Like I said, it's been legalized now. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But that doesn't necessarily undo all that bad info. It's still out there. There's old info out there. There's lingering opinions that have been based on things that were not true. There's a lot of people who won't use CBD products because they're afraid they're sinning. So let's think about this. I've had some negative feedback about my position on hemp, likening it to idolatry in a way, that just because God gives us this plant does not mean that he condones us using it. He gave us wood, and yet all through the Old Testament we see examples of wood being used to create idols. And idols weren't okay. He had created the wood, but he didn't create the idols, obviously. And they try to draw lines and parallels between these two. And I'm going to share with you today why I don't believe that is true. And if you disagree, I welcome your emails and your comments. But we're going to really dig into this so that you can know for sure that you're okay. Let's look at 3 truths that you can stand on to confront any guilt that you may be feeling. Number 1, hemp-derived products. Again, products that come from hemp. Hemp-derived CBD products, they don't alter your sobriety. Now, there may be THC in them if they are full-spectrum products. But for the product to be legal, the THC must be less than 0.3% of the dry weight. For reference, just so you can kind of know what you're dealing with here, street marijuana that you get these days is well over 10% THC. 10. The legal limit of THC in CBD products is 0.3%, and that's just the upper limit. That doesn't mean that the product you use even has that much. So I said that it's 10% now. The street marijuana is 10% THC. That's up from about 4% back in the mid-90s, around 1995. It has been bred to have a very, very high level of THC. The difference between 10% and 0.3% is a lot. Okay, it's a lot. It is such a low amount that it will not get you high. It's not a significant amount. The benefit of leaving it there is the entourage effect, which we referenced back in a previous episode, where the cannabinoids work better together than if you start taking some of them out. They build on each other to have a more efficient result than if you start to take some of the cannabinoids out. So we leave the THC in to make it work better, but it does not alter your sobriety. If you're using your CBD oil drops accurately with the proper dosing, you really shouldn't feel anything at all when you take the CBD other than just feeling better because the symptoms you're trying to relieve are improved. You shouldn't feel anything funny in your head at all. If you ever take it and you're feeling something funny in your head, you probably took way too much. Just keep that in mind. It's still not really altering your sobriety, even if you do feel that funny feeling. That only comes if you're taking too much. So you just pull back on that dose, you get the same benefits, you don't have the funny feeling, and you're not getting high. So you don't have to feel like you have sinned or done something wrong or altered your sobriety. It's just not happening. Number 2, using a tool that God gives us is not avoiding the problem. I don't ever recommend that you treat a symptom without any work or any effort to figure out what the root cause is. And this is no different. If you've got pain, do you have an injury? Do you have inflammation? Is there something structurally wrong that needs to be dealt with? If you're having trouble sleeping, do you have a lifestyle that is just not conducive to sleeping well? Are you getting too much screen time, especially close to bed? Are you too sedentary? Are you sitting around all day and you need to get some more exercise so that you're actually tired at bedtime? Are you drinking too much caffeine too late? If you're having anxiety, are you trying to do too much in your life? Are you trying to maintain an impossible lifestyle and an impossible pace like so many people are? Are your standards too high? Are you on social media? Are you on social media all the time to where you're seeing everybody else's perfected pictures of their life and you have this unrealistic expectation for yourself to where you're just anxious that you're just not good enough? Are you not spending enough time in God's Word, which is where we can be reminded over and over again of where our peace comes from and where our joy comes from? These are all potential root causes of problems that people use CBD for. I highly encourage you to always find that root cause. However, we have an endocannabinoid system in our body that produces cannabinoids whether or not we take additional phytocannabinoids, which is the fancy word for plant-based cannabinoids, the CBD, and all these other ones like CBG, CBN, all these different cannabinoids that grow on the plant. It's just a big old word to talk about the molecules that grow on the plant that help our bodies. Our bodies actually make their own no matter what. It's just that these systems aren't always functioning at their highest. And so when we take these plant-based cannabinoids from the hemp that God gave us, it prompts our system to work better. This system is there to help provide our body balance and to help our bodies recover from trauma when bad things happen, whether it be something spiritual, psychosocial, or physical. Any of the types of traumas that we can deal with in our life, this system helps us to get back to normal, get back to that balance, that homeostasis, the fancy word that means that we're all in balance, okay? That's what that system is for, and God put it there. And the receptors fit hand in hand with the molecules that grow on the hemp plant or the molecules that your body makes, which are the same as what grows on the hemp plant. If God didn't want us to have this system, He wouldn't have put it there. It didn't make itself, okay? He is our creator. He made us perfectly, and that's been there all along, even though we didn't discover it until recently. It reminds me of this story, you probably heard it before, about a person who was in an area that had flooded, and they had escaped up onto the roof of their house because the water level had gotten so high. And they're praying, they're sitting on the rooftop just praying for God to save them, for God to come take them and save them from this situation. So they're sitting there and they're praying, and a boat comes by and asks them, "Hey, come on, let me save you. Get in the boat. We'll take you on down to wherever." And the guy's like, "No, I'm praying for God to save me. He's going to send somebody for me, or he's going to save me." Then another boat comes, same story. "Come with us." And the man says, "Nope, I'm waiting on God to save me." Another boat comes by. "Nope, waiting on God to save me." So eventually the water carries him away and he drowns. After he dies, he asks God, "Why didn't you rescue me?" And what does God say? "I sent you 3 boats. You sent them away." He has given us remedies. There are so many. This is just one of the many things that He has given us on this earth to help us to deal with the things that come in this fallen world. We have injuries, we have stresses, we have so many things that come at us. And this is a beautiful system that He put there for us to be able to manage life. This is a proven remedy that He made. So why suffer needlessly? You don't need to feel guilty about using this product that mimics what your body does anyway on its own, and it helps your body do on its own what it was designed to do. There's no guilt there. There's no reason to feel bad. Yes, try to figure out what's causing your problem and try to fix the problem, the root cause. But in the meantime, it's okay to use what He gave us to get through. Number 3, CBD is legal. Now, I know that just because something's legal doesn't mean it's okay. It's not just a blanket, "Yeah, you're good." Alcohol is also legal. Alcohol alters your sobriety. Medications, there are plenty of medications that you can go get a prescription for right now that will alter your sobriety, and they are also legal with a prescription. However, we know as Christians, we are to abide by the law up to the point that it contradicts with God's law. So CBD being legal means that, yes, we are authorized by the law to use it, and so that it's okay for us to use in the eyes of the government, and it's okay to use in the eyes of God because it does not alter our sobriety. The 2018 Farm Bill legalized hemp-derived CBD products across the nation. So federally, CBD is legal in all states. Now, it's a little bit of a civics lesson, but just because something is federally legal, a state can still impact that in some ways. So you need to do your research from state to state to see what the legal status is. Some states it's fully legal. You can use any of it as long as it's hemp derived. Some states it's conditional. You're just going to have to do your research for your state to figure out for sure what's the legal status. But in just about every state, if not every state, it is legal to use CBD oil products that come from hemp. You can know that you're using a product that is legal and doesn't put you in violation of the law or in violation of what we read in Romans chapter 13. We don't need to walk around with guilt. Have you prayed about your concerns? Have you talked to God? He will guide you if you're living for Him. If you're living according to His will, which we can read about in Scripture, He's going to guide you. He's going to help you with your decisions. Did you buy your CBD and it's just sitting in your medicine cabinet unused because of your guilty feelings, this guilt that you've been carrying? Get it back out, girl. Check the label. Based on what you learned back in episode 12, kind of go through the label, make sure that you know what's in there and that it's a good product. If it's got good ingredients, good to go. Use it up. If it's a product that have ingredients that maybe shouldn't be there, like what we talked about in episode 12, I'd love for you to give our products a try. You've heard me talk in other episodes about our 20% off deal we've got going on. So if you go to bit.ly/CBD and you show, you can try any of our products that you want for 20% off. If it was a good product and you've used it up, also would love for you to give us a try and maybe make the switch. We have a 100% satisfaction guarantee, so if you order it and you don't like it, we'll give you your money back. But I'll tell you, we've been doing this for quite some time, almost 4 years now, and we haven't had anybody disappointed. So if you need help knowing how to use the product that you already have, maybe it's sitting on your shelf and you're like, I don't know what to do with this, shoot me an email. I'll be glad to help you out. I'll help you figure out how much to take. If you'll especially tell me the milligram concentration, it'll help me a lot to kind of coach you to what you need to take. Just shoot me a quick email over to info@alararidgefarm.com. That's ALARA Ridge Farm. And I'll be glad to help you out as much as I can. I hope you've enjoyed this today. I hope you've learned a lot. Before you take off, if you would, just go on down to the show notes in whatever podcast app you're using and click that link to join our family so we can send you sales and other goodies and freebies and stuff as they come along. I promise we won't ever send you any spam because ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody likes that spam junk. And I certainly won't sell your email address because I don't even know how to do that. So I'm surely not going to do it, but I'm not going to spam you either. If you have a show idea, I have a new resource for you to go leave me an idea. You can leave me, it's kind of like leaving a voicemail. It's called SpeakPipe. That link is also in the show notes. Just go click on that link. It'll take you to a little thing that you click a button and leave your voicemail and just tell me what you want to hear about, what you want to learn about. Do you have a question, something that you'd like to hear me talk about in a future show? Shoot that over there and you just might hear it here. So that's all I've got for today, and I will see you right back here next week. Whoa, wait, stop. I need your help. Before you take off, if this podcast has blessed you in any way, or if you learned something, could you take 1 minute and leave me a written review over on Apple Podcasts? That's the absolute best way you can thank me. I love hearing how what I've learned on my journey has helped you on yours. Remember that the Word says every good gift and every perfect gift is from above. CBD is one of them, but there are so many more. Cling to Him and you will never go wrong. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you back here in a few days.